What is lead exposure? Lead exposure happens when lead is inhaled or ingested from sources like old paint, contaminated soil, dust, or drinking water. It can build up in the body and cause serious health problems, especially in children where it harms brain development and behavior. Adults may suffer from high blood pressure, kidney damage, and reproductive issues. When did it start? Human exposure to lead began as early as ancient times with evidence of lead use in water pipes, cosmetics, and pottery glazes in ancient Rome and Egypt. During the Roman Empire, widespread use of lead in plumbing and food preparation led to significant exposure among the population. However, industrial scale exposure increased dramatically during the 19th and 20th centuries with the advent of leaded gasoline, lead-based paints, and other industrial uses. These developments contributed to widespread environmental contamination and human health impacts, especially among children, before regulatory actions were taken in the late 20th century. Why do we care? Lead exposure is a serious concern because it harms children's brain development and continues to pose risk in both urban and rural areas. In cities, old lead-based paint still threatens young children, while in rural environments, lead bullets left in game animals can poison wildlife like the endangered California condor. The 2014 Flint, Michigan water crisis showed how lead in drinking water can affect entire communities. Lead remains a danger to health, wildlife, and public safety. Here are some of the signs and symptoms of lead poisoning: growth and development delays, learning difficulties, irritability and or behavioral problems, difficulty concentrating, headache and stomach pain, and loss of appetite and or weight loss. Here we included data from Healthy People 2030. The status is baseline only, but the desired direction is to get the amount of people exposed to lead decreased. Healthy People 2030 states there is no safe blood lead level for children. Lead can damage children's kidneys, blood, and brains, and at high levels it can cause coma, seizures, and death. Children are most likely to be exposed to lead in older housing with lead-based paint. Strategies to keep young children from coming into contact with lead are critical for reducing their blood lead levels. Short and long-term consequences. Lead exposure can cause serious health effects in both the short and long term. In the short term, children may experience symptoms such as fatigue, irritability, abdominal pain, in severe cases, seizures or coma. Over time, even low lead levels of lead can lead to lasting consequences, including reduced IQ, attention problems, and behavioral issues that impact academic performance and social development.
There has been multiple research surrounding lead exposure that's available to the public. Around 1.5 million deaths in 2021 globally can be attributed to cardiovascular related illnesses caused by lead exposure. Lead exposure acts as a neurotoxin that damages the brain by causing death and increased stimulation of neurotransmitters receptors, which lead to deterioration of various cells such as oligodendroglia, which help to create the myelin sheath that protects our nerves. Pregnant women have the ability of causing in utero lead exposure due to lead stored in the mother's bones being passed to the fetus. And lastly, children are more likely to be exposed to lead poisoning due to particles in the air they breathe, lead in the soil where they play, and frequent hand-to-mouth actions while the hands are contaminated with lead from various sources. Public health response. The World Health Organization (WHO) labels lead as a chemical of major health concern. In an effort to combat the prevalence of lead exposure, WHO published a guideline on how to clinically manage lead exposure. Per the guidelines, it is imperative to test for blood lead concentration levels that are equal to or greater than 5 micrograms per deciliter. Ensure that women and children eat high calcium and iron diets to prevent lead absorption in the gut. Routinely have water from pipes tested for lead deposits, as well as use cold water for cooking to decrease lead deposit breakdown with hot water. As well as chelation therapy is recommended for children less than 11 years old with blood lead concentrations of around 45 micrograms per deciliter and lead encephalopathy. Chelation therapy is basically where they remove heavy metals from the body, and in this instance it will be removing lead. West Central Department of Public Health currently has a childhood lead poisoning program that aims to decrease occupational and environmental lead exposure in children under 6. The program is under supervision of Healthy Homes, and coordinators from the organization routinely perform lead paint inspections and household/environment risk assessments when children are discovered to have blood lead levels of more than 3.5 micrograms per deciliter. Addressing the issue. Under Georgia Department of Public Health guidelines, home lead inspections are only required if a child is discovered to have high levels of blood lead concentration. Although this is necessary to locate the source of the lead exposure and minimize its prevalence within a home, lead home investigations should be done routinely to ensure adequate, healthy environments for families. Oftentimes, high blood lead concentrations are due to repeated contact with contaminated surfaces, foods, and various other objects. With that being said, house and pipe inspections should be mandated quarterly in all households to decrease the likelihood of exposure to lead.